A long time ago stood Earl Alfred Aethelwulfson of Dorset, a little county in the heart of Wessex. It may not be pronounced Wessex, but that is what it must be called to be monetized on YouTube, referred to as Earl Alfred. At this time, the Kingdom of England had not yet emerged. This is his story of how he came to be the first ruler of mighty England. At this time, the Norse Viking hordes to the north have taken over much of the main island and threaten to crush England before it even begins. Our protagonist will have to make powerful allies if he is to stop the Vikings and keep them from conquering all of Europe. At this time, he is only an earl. His brother rules Wessex with Alfred as his brother's heir. In his first steps to change this, he sets his eyes on Middlesex, ruled by Earl Alfred. This will be his first test as a would-be conqueror, so he declared war on Earl Alfred, then began marching his armies on the capital of Middlesex. With the taking of the capital, Alfred succeeded in enforcing his demands on Earl Alfred, winning his first war and expanding his territory further. Suddenly and unexpectedly, Alfred's brother, the King of Wessex, tragically died. While a boon for Alfred, he would still remember and honor his brother. Alfred was now King of Wessex, and he immediately consolidated his counties, appointed vassals, and got ready for the conquest to come. Because Middlesex was the first of many conquests he planned to undertake. Every so often, the Vikings would come by and attempt to raid. Alfred would not stand idly by while the Vikings attempted to plunder and desecrate his lands. Alfred would set up and ambush these hordes of savages. Sadly, though this raid was driven off, not all would be. Still, Alfred did what he could for his people. They were counting on him to protect them. After successfully driving off a raid, Alfred received great news while out on the field that his dutiful wife and queen was bearing his child. Hopefully, this would be the first of many sons and daughters of his dynasty. Some months later, she gave birth to a beautiful daughter. This was a glorious day for the Kingdom of Wessex. Alfred had an heir, therefore his legacy would live on. Soon after, Alfred's bishop informed him that he now had a fabricated claim on the earldom of Devon. Alfred had his eyes on Cornwall for some time now. He began to make preparations. Taking Cornwall was important if he was going to take the southern half of the island. However, Alfred received an urgent message from the east. Vikings had landed. So Alfred made sure that they were driven off before his invasion of Cornwall. Having driven off the raiding Vikings, Alfred turned his attention back to Cornwall. The Pope himself sent a missive to Alfred saying that not only did Alfred have a claim to Devon, but the entire Petty Kingdom of Cornwall itself. It was time. Alfred drew up his plans and declared war on Cornwall. In the war room discussing the war, one of his vassals hailed him as Alfred the Great, as a testament to his prowess as a king, leader, and visionary. Alfred was hesitant at first, but eventually grew to accept the title. Alfred and his men strode off to battle, routing the enemy again and again. He was at last at the enemy's castle gate. The siege only lasted for a few days, and victory was to be Alfred's. He entered the gates and forced the enemy king to submit. The enemy king did only begrudgingly and would be a thorn in King Alfred's side for years to come. For now, Wessex had expanded greatly under King Alfred's rule. Though they had just conquered Cornwall, Vikings to the north wanted Cornwall for themselves, so their attempt at conquest began. As Alfred was preparing for war, his bishop said that he could make a claim on the earldom of Worcestershire to the north. Alfred, wanting to take the kingdom of Mercia next, ordered the bishop to fabricate the claim. First, Alfred needed to deal with the raiders in the heart of his homeland. As he was dealing with those pesky raiders, the enemy invaded the southern shores of Cornwall. Then they began their attempts to take the capital. The size of the enemy's army was laughable compared to Alfred's. Though he kept his reserve, Alfred was confident he could crush these opportunists. The Viking forces were utterly crushed at the hands of Alfred's superior army. When Alfred returned home triumphant, he learned that his wife was again with child. Alfred loves his girls, but he would like a son as well. He did not have any doubts that his wife would give him one, so he decided to be patient. Alfred's bishop informed him that Alfred now had a claim to the earldom of Worcestershire. Alfred began to prepare his men with a rousing speech. He declared that he was not content until the entire island was under Wessex's rightful rule. Worcestershire had been under the rule of savages long enough. Time to liberate it. King Alfred of Wessex declared war on King Burgred of Mercia and raised his armies. Marching north, Alfred and his armies smashed into Burgred's. Burgred's forces fought hard, but they were outnumbered and outmaneuvered by Alfred. Victorious, Alfred marched east to Burgred's castle. Alfred sacked Burgred's castle, but Burgred was nowhere to be found. A runner in the night, out of breath, told Alfred that Berkhamsted was under siege. Alfred had to act quick, or his progress could get reversed. Alfred marched to rescue Berkhamsted from the invaders. Burgred's forces retreated, but Alfred cornered King Burgred, capturing him and winning a decisive victory. Alfred had established his dominance over Mercia and became much closer to being hailed the King of England. However, there was still much more to do. But Alfred could rest a moment secure in his accomplishment. Stay tuned to find out what happens to Alfred next. I hope you guys liked this video as much as I liked making it. Let me know if this was entertaining for you in the comments, or if there was something I could improve. I want to know that as well. See you next time.